Good evening. My name is Vince Noblet, and I'm president of the Speedway Town Council. It is 7 p.m. Today is May the 10th, 2021. I'm going to call this meeting to order. First on the agenda is roll call. Gary Pettigo.
Good evening.
Eileen Fisher is absent, and David Lindsay.
Good evening.
And Vice President Gary Rakes.
Good evening.
Also in attendance is our Town Clerk Treasurer Jacob Bladesdale.
Good evening.
And our Town Attorney Bob Clutter.
Howdy do.
Good evening. First on the agenda is a Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next on the agenda is approval of the minutes of April 26, 2021. These minutes have been previously distributed. If there's no corrections or changes, they'll be approved as submitted. Hearing none, they're approved. Third item on our agenda is the approval of the IEDC request to close Gilman Street for a Speedway Block party on May 29th, 2021. Tim?
Yeah, this event is, as you mentioned, with the IEDC, in conjunction with Innovation, celebrating Innovation in Indiana. They want to have a block party. It's a private party. They're requesting a closure on Gilman from just past the Delara first entrance on Gilman back to the end of Gilman Street for that entire Saturday, basically set up in the morning, and the event ends at 8 o'clock. We are requesting they have everything removed prior to race day, as we use Gilman Street for staging of taxis and Ubers and everything. So we have talked to our staff and everybody. They're not really requesting anything other than some street closed signs, which we can provide at that time. Everything else seems to be on them and taken care of, so we would recommend approval of this event.
Okay.
Mr. President, I'll go ahead and make a motion that we approve the IEDC request to close Gilman Street for the Speedway Block party on May 29th.
I second.
Okay, a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Tim, you mentioned this is a private event, not public?
I believe it's a private event,
Okay.
if I read it correctly.
Yeah, that's what it says, a private block party. Okay, thank you. I answered my own question for you.
Yeah, quick.
I'm filling it.
Are there any other questions for Tim?
Just want to be sure, I know you were going to have some conversations. You mentioned having conversations with staff, but with our new system, just want to make sure that some of those have been.
Correct. We just talked to Chief over and Rob at Street Department. I have Kelly clarifying the bike racks to make sure that they're providing those bike racks versus us, because we don't have 680 feet worth of bike racks, and we're going to have that all placed out for race, which is the next day, the Indy 500. So everything looks to be that they're only requesting use of the road as well as the street. You know, we'd have to provide some street closed signs because the bike racks aren't easy to see, but beyond that, they're not really requesting anything from the town.
Thank you.
And this is not going to affect Main Street, correct?
It will not affect Main Street other than parking for the event, which I think they might be partnering with Juncos on that actually, so it might not even be an issue there.
Okay. Wow, that's good. Okay, thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
There's no further discussion. I'm going to call for a vote on item number 3, approval of IEDC request to close Gilman for a private block party on May 29th, 2021. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries 4-0. Next on the list is approval of the Daredevil 5K event on August 21st, 2021.
Good evening. Yeah, my name is Lee O'Connor, race director with Racemaker Productions. We partner with, well, this event is owned by the Speedway Running Club. They hired us to do all the management for the race. August 21st, we've got a temporary closure on Gilman Street, just out in front of Daredevil, from about 6 a.m. till about 11 a.m. for race day. The rest of the route's all a rolling closure, so officers will do that when we start the race at 9 a.m. and just kind of roll as they go. We go out to 10th Street, come up Lyndhurst, a little out and back on Speedway Avenue, and then catch the trail along Crawfordsville back down Main Street. It's typically about 300 people in this race. Took a year off from COVID, and so we'll see how those numbers climb back up. Proceeds go to the Speedway Running Club, and then they also donate to the Speedway Trails to help support. They partner with Daredevil, obviously, post-race beer, I think fun days for ice cream, so they support some of the local businesses on Main Street, and good event overall. It's the 6th year. It's had a couple names over the years, but we've done it since the year that Daredevil opened. So.
Okay. So I want to make a, do I have a motion or?
Mr. President, I know we've talked about this prior to the meeting. We are in the process. You and I've met with the police chief last week.
Sure.
Working on a committee for these to be reviewed.
Yeah.
We really want your event here, but I think there needs to be some I's dotted and T's crossed.
Okay.
And I do foresee this being approved, but at a future meeting, you may or may not maybe need really to come back and talk to us. But I think it's my kind of proposal that we wait and have Tim Gropp and our police department, fire department, our street department kind of maybe sit down, talk with you and the others that are trying to run this event, go and check off some check boxes on things and dot I's and cross T's.
Okay.
So that's kind of my,
I concur with
Yeah.
with Councilor Lindsay on that. But fully, I also believe, Lee, that, we'll have the event. We just need to
Yes.
get the i's dotted, as Councilor Lindsay said.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. Any other thoughts? So basically, we'll take this under advisement, and basically, it will come up in another future meeting.
Okay.
Basically, after the committee's been able to get together, and understand the total ramification of this. So thank you very much for being informative on this.
Yeah, for sure.
And both of those are fantastic items that, the running club and, the trails,
Yeah, for sure.
and appreciate the support for those two really great organizations.
Yeah, we'll pass that on to them. Yep, just let me know what you guys need and we'll follow up.
sure, great, thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
We understand that we're kind of tweaking that process right now, and they have submitted it, so we'll do our best to have that committee meeting in the next 2 weeks if possible, so we can, since these events have come before us, we want to make sure that we're being as expedient as possible to review those, so we'll do our best to do that.
Perfect.
Thank you, Tim.
Okay, next on the agenda is the approval of the Porsche Sprint Challenge, October 16th, 2021.
Hi, my name is Philippa. I'm the Business Development Manager at USAC and Porsche Sprint Challenge. We are looking...
Hold on 1 second. I spoke to Kelly earlier, and she was going to put something on the screens. We have a PowerPoint presentation that was prepared.
Great.
Okay, good.
If you want to keep talking, the guys should start running in here in just a little bit.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Yeah,
Maybe.
there we go.
There you go.
There you go. Okay.
There you
We
go.
can skip forward a few
Yeah.
slides as well. Maybe. We can go forward a few more.
He can hear you and everything, so.
Keep going.
Yeah, just,
Keep going. There we are. Okay. So we are looking to host an Oktoberfest street festival in junction with the 8 Hours of Indianapolis at IMS. It is where we will host our season finale.
wow, that's nice.
Can go to the next slide. We will have a tent set up to do our end-of-the-year awards banquet to honor our champions. That will be closed off to our competitors. Can go off to the next slide. We are looking to have a beer garden defined and fenced off that will be open to the public for purchase. We're open to having other downtown vendors be a part of the festival if they choose to. We would prefer if Warsteiner, which is our sponsored beer of our series, to be the only beer served. If that cannot be the case, we're open to allowing vendors to also serve their Oktoberfest blend of their choice to kind of just keep on theme with the event that we are looking to host. We are also, the parameters kind of, or the hours that we're looking to host are from 6 p.m. to 11, if that obviously is in compliance with any noise ordinances that the city requires. Can go to the next one. We will have brats obviously served by barbecue and bourbon that will be available for our guests based on a ticketing service, and then for the public to purchase as well. We are looking to host this event on Main Street between the blocks of 12th and 13th, and using that kind of platform between, I believe, the Delara factory and the Harding building. If we are allowed to, depending on the capacity, I think we've allowed for about 300 with that size. If we do plan on having more, we would just ask if we could extend that block being blocked off between 12th and 14th. And so we are just seeking approval for this event. We're also going to have a free public concert with Clayton Anderson, who we believe is a good kind of family-friendly concert to have to attract the right kind of atmosphere along Main Street during October.
Great.
Again, Mr. President, I think this is one that our committee with Tim needs to review as well. This sounds like a great event, and we'd love to have you down on Main Street, but again, I think we need our committee to review, definitely sit down with you, plan things out, get things checked off again, meet with the police department, the fire department, our street department to get everything, so everything's put in place. We may have you back, or it may be where you don't need to come back, and we'll go and put it on as an agenda item on a future meeting, if everyone would concur with that.
Concur.
I concur, yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you very much.
No, yeah, I really appreciate you bringing this to us. It does sound like a fantastic event,
Yeah.
especially for that area. So maybe too, when you start getting the numbers together on exactly how big of area you're going to need, those are the things that our street department and our police department need to understand to make sure that we do our job adequately and preparing for it.
Yeah. Philippa, you might talk a little bit while you have the mic about why that weekend and why you're doing the event, what else is going on in town, or,
Well, during that weekend, as I kind of mentioned, is the 8 Hours of Indianapolis. So it will be a premier sports car event that is happening at IMS with internationally recognized sports cars, along with our new Porsche Sprint Challenge Series, which is recognized across the entire world, but we have started this year in 2021 in North America. So we're wanting to tie in, obviously, ending our season in October and bring kind of the German aspect of Oktoberfest, obviously being a Porsche series, so it ties in well within our brand and kind of what we're doing, and hopefully attracting a nice event that the residents of Speedway can attend as well.
Yeah, that's great. That's exactly what we've intended 10, 12, 15 years ago when we embarked on redeveloping our Main Street and other areas of Speedway, trying to attract those events. As Lee spoke earlier, about 6 years now that they've had events running in Speedway. IMS told us months ago that this might be a possibility of your event, the Porsche weekend and some other weekends, having street events that would be tagged on or in addition to what's going on at the track. So this is exactly the kind of thing we've been planning for. We're so excited. But to Councilor Lindsay's point, we just need to dot some I's and T's on our side, cross some T's on our side. But this is You got my thumbs up, but not,
yeah.
we can't vote on it.
We'll
take that for now.
Did you reach out to any other businesses like Foyt Wine Bar, since they're right across the street there?
I believe we've had communication, obviously, with Barbecue and Bourbon.
Right.
There you go. Once I think we could figure out if we were able to do this event, we were going to reach out to those vendors, see if it was something they wanted to take part in, and kind of firm up those details once we knew if it was a feasible project or not.
Yeah, fantastic.
Will your block be private?
It's open to the public.
It is,
There are
okay.
some events, like the kind of end of the year championship dinner or like happy hour that we're doing, that will be private to our series and our competitors. But the beer garden, the brats for sale, the concert is all open to the public.
That's great.
Free.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you. Real quick, how soon do you need the figures? Is that in the timeline?
For attendance.
Kelly or Tim, I think, will be reaching out to you here soon and definitely follow up on that with you.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next on the agenda is Ordinance 1341, an ordinance establishing the American Rescue Plan Coronavirus Local Fiscal Recovery Fund, and I believe that's yours, Jacob.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. As President Nowell just said, this would establish a fund so that we're doing this with a little bit of cautious optimism here. But under State Board of Accounts Directive, we need to create a separate fund that would hold any of the rescue plan funds so that we could comply with all the grant requirements. So this ordinance creates that fund, and like I said, cautiously optimistic. Right now, kind of in the list that was published, excluded cities weren't part of that, but we've been working very closely with the other excluded cities in the city of Indianapolis on proposing to the U.S. Treasury and working with our congressional delegation to make sure that we do receive an allocation. Some of that news came out today in terms of the allocation to states and some of the entitlement cities, which are the larger cities. And so we hope to get more guidance yet this week on what's going to happen to non-entitlement cities, which we and the other excluded cities are part of. So this ordinance isn't being passed because we know exactly how much we're getting or that we're guaranteeing that we're getting anything, but it is something that we need to have passed. Obviously, if we do receive funds, we want to be able to do so and comply with all the state guidance. So this ordinance would establish that fund and help us do that.
Mr. President, I'd like to move that we pass ordinance number 1341 as written and as explained to us by our clerk treasurer.
Second.
Yeah, I got a motion and a second. If there's no other discussion, I'm going to call for a vote. All those in favor of ordinance 1341 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Next is the approval of lease agreement between the Civil Town of Speedway and the schools, Town of Speedway. Tim, is that yours?
All right. So yeah, this is, we are getting close to the end of the school year. Everybody's probably pretty excited. The schools have always been intended to be on the second floor of this facility. It is built out, ready to go for them. They chose to get through the school year, rightfully so, and are looking to start moving their administrative facilities into this facility in June. So prior to doing that, they would like, we need to get a lease in place with them. You know, we're all intergovernmental entities, and this is a favorable lease, but we have to have something in place just to outline the parameters. This lease is for 3 years, has renewable aspects in it, and it gets them in here, but also documents everything for State Board of Accounts. We have provided this lease to Kyle Trebley, who has shown it to his school board previous. They do have a school board meeting tomorrow night, so pending approval tonight, I believe it is their intent to approve it on their side tomorrow night so that they're all ready to go at that point to move in whenever they feel like it, so.
Is this a revolving lease, or the lease has an end to it, or is it?
Yeah, we have it set up as a 3-year, so we have chances to review it every once in a while, make sure everyone's comfortable with all the situations, but then it has renewable, it's a renewable lease with no real timeline on it, so we can continue to renew it every 3 years, and as long as everything's working out for both sides and everybody's comfortable, we're able to continue on.
Okay. Do I have a motion so we can?
I'll make a motion that we approve the lease agreement as presented.
I'll second.
Get a motion and a second. Is there any more discussion about the lease?
I've been in contact with Dr. Trebley. He's in favor of it and says he's fine with the agreement as written.
Okay. There's no further questions, then call for a vote. All those in favor of approving the lease agreement between Town of Speedway and School Town of Speedway signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Thank you, Tim. Next on the agenda is the approval of lease agreement between the Civil Town of Speedway and the Speedway Redevelopment Commission. Tim.
I didn't even sit down. Same aspect, because the agreement with the Speedway Redevelopment Commission, we have office space in here. We utilize the common areas and the meeting space. We intend, we have an agreement to offset some of the expenses here. Due to that, we put in lease form so that if we're ever audited or the State Board of Accounts wants to say, why are you giving the town money for this? We have a lease in place. This just documents that. Ours is a little bit, ours is a 5-year term with renewables, so both sides are able to evaluate over time a little bit longer. We don't intend to go anywhere, but you just never know when I outstay my welcome, so. So with that said, very similar terms. It outlines what we have agreed to pay, and there's ability for us to reevaluate that as we go along, if things change or situation changes in the building.
Mr. President, I make a motion we approve the lease agreement between the town and the Speedway Redevelopment Commission.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion, further discussion? Hearing none, I'm going to call for a vote. All those in favor of approving the lease agreement between the Civil Town of Speedway and the Speedway Redevelopment Commission signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 4-0.
Thank you.
Okay. Next on the agenda is the claims and utility adjustments for Town Clerk Treasurer.
Yep, thank you, Mr. President. Before we get to claims and adjustments, I would propose or suggest that we add an item to the agenda for the community crossings grant, if you're okay with that.
Yes.
So we received a, Rob, sorry, Rob, I'm going to steal your thunder from your update up here, but we want to get this approved. So very fortunate once again that the Town of Speedway received was awarded the Community Crossings Matching Grant this year for $260,800. And I've said this in the past, it really is an achievement, especially this year with gas tax dollars being down. They're even more limited than they have been in the past. We just keep getting it every year, which is a huge testament to the work that Rob and his team do to make sure that we're able to consistently get those funds. It's now well over $1 million that we've received additional to the town, and we keep announcing it every year like it's this automatic thing that everybody gets, but it's just not. It's a very competitive process. And we've done a really good job getting that. So congratulations again, Rob. And but there is a formality here where council needs to approve that agreement. So I believe if our attorney will allow, you guys can approve that on concurrence tonight if you are willing to do that.
You may.
Just a concurrence.
I concur.
I concur.
Absolutely.
Rob, good work.
Yeah, great job. Rob, can you tell the public where that money goes to?
Yeah, over the past several years, we've done asphalt projects anywhere from, let's say 22nd Street, 21st Street area there. Then we moved up to the northern part of town. We've also done the car section, Cadillac, DeSoto, Nash. And we're still working up on the north end. We started there last year, and the year before that we did part of it. And then we're still working there by Meadowwood Park to get Vinewood and Meadowwood, the short section between Vinewood and Fruitdale, done this year, which is streets, curbs, sidewalks. So
Wow.
it's a big achievement.
Yeah, I'm sure the residents in that area appreciate all the work that you do. And
Now, that's what we do
get
with the
done.
5-year plan. I mean, you have to have it to even get the grant, so.
The council representative that represents that area greatly appreciates it.
You can't spread it around.
Rob's doing a very good job in my district.
So anything else?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rob.
Claims presented to council represent those from April 24th through May 7th. Those were distributed to you prior to the meeting. And I'll take any questions or would appreciate your approval.
Mr. President, I make a motion, we approve the claims as presented by the clerk treasurer this evening.
Do I have a second?
I will second.
Yeah, I got a motion and a second for approval of claims as presented from the town clerk treasurer. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 4-0.
Adjustments are for the same period, April 24th through May 7th. There's just a couple of small ones for billing errors that were made, so the late fees were adjusted out, and would appreciate your approval on those as well.
Make a motion that we approve the adjustments as presented by the clerk treasurer.
And I'll second that one, too.
Got a motion and a second for the adjustments. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Next on the agenda is the...
Can I make a couple of those?
Yeah.
Real quick, on the Dropbox for utility payments, there's been a little bit of confusion. So we are actively using the Dropbox that's on the east side of the new building here at 5300 Crawfordsville. So folks can utilize that, and many have started to do so. The question we also frequently get is the blue payment Dropbox. It's at the old town hall that a lot of people are using. We are still checking that periodically, but it's not quite as frequently. So if you put it in there, into that box down at the old town hall, we'll eventually get to it, and we're certainly checking it prior to the due dates, but there could be a little bit of a delay, a few days delayed in actually depositing that check. But it is still active. We are still checking it. And then the other thing I wanted to mention, starting tomorrow, folks can pay their utility bills by our automated phone system 24/7. This is a new service that we're rolling out. You've always been able to call during business hours, and we would take your credit card number, put the information in, and make the payment with you, but you can now do it through an automated system. The number for that, and we'll be putting this out on social media and email though, but the number is 1-833-442-1550. Follow the prompts, and you'll need, of course, your credit card information and also your account number, but it walks you through the process. And like I said, you can do it any time of day that you want. If it's midnight, go ahead and call the number, and you can pay it online. And like I said, the processing fees are the same that our processor charges, so there's no extra convenience fee or anything like that. The credit card processing fee is $4.95, and then for a debit card, it's $1.50. Again, those are set by the processor. Those don't come to the town, but it is the same whether you pay through this phone service or online. And then I'd also plug, as I do sometimes, but you can sign up for automatic bill payment. If you call us, we'll get that set up, have your bank account information, and we can get you rolling on that. There's no cost to process payments that way. That's all I have.
Question.
Yes, sir.
How about that old blue box at the old town hall? How much longer will it be there?
I haven't made a decision on that. I want to give people certainly some time to adjust. And so no decision on that yet. Like I said, we're taking it periodically versus the other one just drops right into our office. So that's always, deposited a little bit faster, but no decision yet on sunsetting the old one.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jay. Move on to reports from the department supervisors. And first up is our economic development, Tim Grupp.
Good evening again. Just for council reference, everything is being pushed out. This is an internal problem on the monitors, so we've checked and everything is recording as should be. So, several things. I mean, if you've driven around Speedway, you know that there's a lot going on. We'll continue to have good announcements here the next couple of months. So, first off, since Kelly's not here tonight, we did have the Cinco de Mayo event last Wednesday. It was well attended. Everything went very well. Our partners were very happy, and the event turned out, met all our expectations, and was a really nice kickoff to May. So we appreciate Aero McLaren SP, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and everybody who stepped up. In particular, a little shout out to our Speedway Arts Council, who coordinated and set up a pop-up art shop that will be open periodically throughout May. That was very well received. It's in the Wilcox, bottom floor of the Wilcox facility there, the corner of 16th and Main. So keep an eye out for that. Please support your local artists, and we appreciate their team getting that put together. So with that, we also had a groundbreaking out at Crew Car Wash. You hopefully saw the pictures and the announcement on that. That project is now underway. We're kind of fighting weather a little bit, but once the weather kind of clears up, we'll get the dirt pushing and that project will be off and running. And then we also, we're hopefully have another groundbreaking on the Hilton here in the next month or so. One of our big concerns out there is delays on steel. So we're looking at alternative ways to build things because they're quoting about 40-week delays on steel right now. So it's pretty crazy, the supply chain right now. So that's our biggest concern as we're working on economic development, is being able to get the materials to finish projects. We also had an announcement today that hit the press on the senior living facility. That is a T&H Investments. Received the state tax credits to have a subsidized senior 55 and older independent living facility. It'll have 60 units that are 2-bedroom, 2-bath. It is a 73,000 square foot facility and is a $13.5 million investment. So when we started our project out there, some of the top items were an additional option for a supermarket, which Aldi is filling, and then options for our seniors in Speedway. And so this is a start. I don't in any way think this is the end game. I still think there's a gap for assisted living, but this is one of the requests, which is this independent living facility. So we're excited to be able to announce that today, and that project will probably be breaking ground this fall. And then if you're down on Main Street, OMR has started their expansion, getting prepped for their expansion as well, which will double the size of their facility, add about another 50,000 square foot to that facility. So that is a long time coming, and we're excited for that investment, and that will really fill out that Gilman Street area after that. So we're still working on permitting and some of the final documents for 1300 block. They're very anxious to break ground on that. I anticipate fencing going up on that block, which will restrict some of our parking. Probably the end of the month, might be early June. There's a little bit of a gap there in some of our approvals, but keep an eye out for that. We will be communicating with the Main Street businesses because that will be a loss of parking during that construction point. So. And then lastly, just a quick mention on the Wilshaw. There is progress being made there. They are zeroing in, they being Loftus Robinson, on a financing commitment. It's not quite there yet, so I don't have a full announcement, but they're getting close. We are staying on top of that documentation and that process. As soon as that is done, we've asked them for a timeline on restarting, and we're working with them to get that hammered down, but I think we're getting close, and there has been progress made. So, you know, we're optimistic. But as this project has shown, we want to make sure it's moving before we get too excited about anything. But we'll keep you posted and go from there. Happy to answer any questions.
Been a busy man.
Yeah,
A
absolutely.
lot going on. Oh, and it's race time.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you, Tim, you know, just to tell the public, nothing has changed in terms of the scope and size of Wilshaw going in.
Yeah, so MHG is still involved on an operator level, from our knowledge. However, the easiest path to move forward has always been Loftus Robinson, finding alternative financing. The markets have opened up a little bit. There's money out there, and we believe that they're close to having that secure. This does not change the project at all. It is still I believe it's been a while. I think it's a 126-room Hilton Tapestry Hotel, designed the exact same, just with a delay on the financing. So we should expect the exact same result as we did when it first started construction.
Okay.
Tim, I want to just encourage you and thank you for the work you've done all over, but on that project, I know it's been frustrating at times for all of us, but you've been living that one constantly. So I know we're encouraged by the apparent progress that Loftus Robinson's made, and excited that MHG, who operates the Courtyard and will operate the Hilton Hampton Inn Suites, will be involved in that. They're proven successful. So it's thanks and congrats to all the hard work you've had.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thanks, Tim.
Next up, Chief Jim Campbell.
Tim just took my report. It's racing. I could stop there if you wanted me to, but, you know, the planning and all that we do, it's time for showtime. And, you know, I can't say enough about the state, local, federal agencies, along with police, fire, medical, you know, and what's gone into this. COVID continues to be somewhat of an issue, and that you've all read we'll have 40%, but we have to prepare as if it were 100%. And at some point, even the testing that we go through, you know, for public safety, you have to show where you've had your COVID shots. Even to go over there today, they do the temperature checks. And so, you know, there's some things with this race that we've never seen before. They're wanting people to wear masks, and, you know, so it's going to be an interesting challenge. But having said that, May 15th is the Grand Prix, and that's kind of the kickoff for the big events. But, you know, qualifications are on the 22nd and 23rd. You know, Carb Day, even Carb Day will be a little different. There's no concert after Carb Day. You know, most of the people that came in the past also stayed around and, you know, hung around for the bands or whoever was playing. Race day on the 30th, you know, when you look at issues, again, no infield traffic in terms of fans in the infield, and no parking in the third and fourth turns. So it's just going to be a lot different. I would encourage, the people in the town of Speedway do a great job of coordinating and working with us and, you know, making this event a positive for the town. And, you know, I would just, again, encourage them to try to get an understanding of some of the changes that's going to happen. People are going to be looking for parking. If they can't park inside, they're going to have some place to park. You know, I think just the general awareness, again, of some of the significant changes that you're going to see even this year. And then lastly, I guess the good news is we did have Shred It on April 16th. they did a record $31,000 for Crime Stoppers.
Wow.
And as you know, Crime Stoppers we use, and, you know, the law enforcement agencies in this county use, and I don't know if everybody just saved up during the COVID to take all their stuff and get it dropped off, but that's what I got.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it.
Our Fire Chief.
Skinny.
I think the reason it was a record is because it was hosted at the fire department headquarters, but the police kind of organized the whole thing, so that could be part of it.
Still taking.
I get to spend the weekend with Jim, and that always is an encouragement. Friday and Saturday, we get to spend the weekend together this weekend, so it's the month of May.
Pay for that.
He should get hazardous pay for that.
Chicken wing.
We have completed all of our inspections of the IMS and all of their vendors and all of that. We've got a few re-inspects to do, but we've been working through that. We've been doing a lot of plan and review because Tim Gropp does such a great job. And we were at the groundbreaking, but we're doing plan and review for all of the new projects, and we're up to date on all of that. We are going to be bringing online a new Knox box system. It's called an e-lock, and we'll contact all of the businesses for that. In the past, all of our schools and all of our businesses that we build have a Knox box, which is a keyed system. Just to make it simple, if that key gets lost, that's a big problem. No matter where the key comes from, if it's off my keychain or one of our apparatus keychains, that's a big problem because all of those cores have to be changed at that point. Knox system has come up with an e-lock system that is a part of the cloud. If an e-lock gets lost, you just kill it in the system, so it doesn't work anymore. You don't have to change all of those. So we've been in the process of converting to that over the last 18 months. It's costly, but we've built it into our budget for the last couple of years as a miscellaneous expense. So we will be contacting all of our businesses. They are not required to switch over to that system. The e-lock system still has the keyed system, but all of our new redevelopment, we will be putting on that system. The Allison's building, for example, anything we're doing with Wilshaw, all of those sorts of things will be on the e-lock system. So that's just a heads up to our business partners, and that's something that'll be coming online over the next couple of years.
Chief, thanks for sharing that. I think the council is fully aware of what you're unlocking and locking. Can you maybe tell the public what it is you're actually?
So our businesses, or for instance this building, have an indestructible box that has a key to the door. Our businesses don't want us breaking their door if they have an alarm, and so we're able to open that box, get a key. All of our schools have a map and a key or a fob to their doors in that Knox box system. So that's basically what a Knox box is. It's KNOX, which is a company that all jurisdictions use. For Speedway, it's unique in that with our mutual aid agreement, with an e-lock system, we can give those fire departments that are coming into our jurisdiction that code so that if we're on another run, they can enter those buildings without having to take a door or take a window to get in. So it's kind of a no-brainer. Indianapolis, Wayne Township, Pike, all of those departments have converted a little bit ahead of us, but we've been able to roll it into our normal budget instead of going out with an expenditure. So we're trying to be really frugal with tax dollars there, and that's kind of our plan. I think that's all I have, unless you have any questions.
No,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Tammy, Parks and Recreation.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Well, lots going on or getting ready to go on in parks. We've got our summer camp registrations going strong. The swim lessons that we offer every year are already full. They filled up really fast this year, partly because we're still under some COVID restrictions and our capacity numbers was reduced. So we apologize to those people that are emailing and calling me wanting to get registered, and I'm having to turn them away, so I feel really bad about that. But hopefully next year we'll be back to full capacity, and we'll be able to get more kids through there. Like I said, our summer camp registration's still going on. We've got some great programs being offered this year. Several of our sport camps, basketball, soccer, softball, volleyball. But we also have our art camp that will be held at Meadowood Park. And then we've also partnered with the Horseshoe Club, and they're offering a free horseshoe camp. That's ages 8 through adults, so it's a great opportunity for families to do something together. And then also a cornhole camp. There is a video out there that the cable did talking about the specifics for that. So look up those parks programs. Working on scheduling the concerts. We've got our first concert scheduled for June 17th. And I'm very excited, even though we are lacking on sponsorship this year, we're definitely not lacking on community spirit. People have really stepped up, and I'm excited to say we're going to have a full slate of concerts. They are going to be spread out this year. Normally in the past, we've kind of done all Thursdays in June and a couple in July. We're only going to have one in June, June 17th, but we'll have hopefully 3 in July and 3 in August, so it'll be spread out more. Some of the other bands that we've got coming, The Last Alpaca, The Party, some musicians of the Philharmonic Orchestra of Indianapolis. They're going to be doing some ensembles and kind of rotating the ensembles for a concert. And Serenade Jazz Orchestra and a local band called Our Shepherd. And then I'm still trying to finalize one more band. As soon as I get that finalized, I'll start getting the posters and the schedule out there.
Hey, Tammy, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
I love the names of bands. It's kind of like hair salons, which I don't need, but what, you say Last Alpaca?
Yeah, The Last Alpaca.
What's their genre? What are they?
That's actually a
That's
local.
cheap.
There's, I believe, 2 of the band members are here local, and I like to say it's just kind of light rock type stuff. I'm not sure what the new terminology is, but they actually have some of their own music.
That's
So
cool.
I
Yeah.
did see a notice out there that they've got a song on Spotify, so they've got some original work, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah, Tim Gropp's volunteering to, just behind you, you don't see it, he's volunteering to do a solo for them if they're interested. Sorry to interrupt you.
No,
It's
you're
just
fine,
Last
you're fine.
Alpaca got my attention.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that, so watch for that. I believe that schedule hopefully will be fully out there maybe in another week. We've partnered with the library to help them out because of COVID restrictions. They're going to do their summer programming in the park at Meadowood. So on June 15th, they've got their Silly Safari that's going to be at the gazebo. And then July 27th, Pretty Funny Balloons. So come out and support the library at the park. This Saturday, we've partnered with the Speedway High School. They're going to be able to offer their spring swing out at the gazebo, and that's where the 25th Street Jazz Band, which is the high school kids, will be playing with, Starlighters Big Band. Left me for a minute. So that's this Saturday, 7 to 9 p.m. That's normally a fundraiser for them. They are offering it free to the public, but they are going to put a donation bucket out, so anybody who comes, I encourage you to support the band. They do a lot for the kids. And then this Thursday is our opening day for the Market on Main, so kicking off our farmers market. And that's all I have.
Fantastic. Any other questions?
No.
Thank you, Tammy.
Great work.
Okay, Rob?
We'll start off with the wastewater. It's business as usual. and they've treated 141 million gallons of water so far this month. Waterworks, the biggest thing is that they're going to be starting flushing hydrants tomorrow from 8 to midnight, 3 crews. They will be finishing up on Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. So they're working Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, they'll be finished up next week. So if you got any cloudy water, it's from them flushing hydrants. So just let it run. It'll clear up. So they're on the surface water plant, they've done 10 million gallons of water out of Eagle Creek. They'll be working on 3 hydrants that they need to do some repairs to throughout town, and they'll also be doing the landscaping from some of the water main breaks they had this winter. And with the street department, it's pretty much business as usual. Getting ready for the race, of course. Street sweeping's ongoing. Curbs and crosswalks are trying to get painted for the event, and yard waste and patching potholes and typical usual stuff. That's all I have.
Yeah, I noticed the crews out there painting the lines and still at it on that. That's a big job.
It is. You don't realize how many white lines and yellow curbs are around town until you're painting them.
Yeah, no kidding.
Any questions?
I also noticed the mowing crews along Home Memorial Way. I think just looking great, and as we can get out of the rain cycle here,
It's
it'll look even
tough.
better.
This time of year, it's real tough, you know. And then when you get into October, you know, it kicks back in because you got August, September, kind of maybe skip a week here or there, but right now there's no skipping weeks. You just got to cut it when you got a day to do it, so.
Great.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thank you.
before you walk away, can you, excuse me, can you tell us what your hiring needs are?
Well, right now, they had an intern at the annex building. He will probably be starting, had him a couple of years ago, he'll be starting on the yard waste truck hopefully toward the end of May, once he gets out of college. And we'll need another one of those and a driver for 3 days a week, same as the yard waste truck labor. It's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 8 hours a day. And that's what we've been advertising out, and that's the only one that I've had any.
And wages for those?
The $12 an hour for the labor and $20 an hour for the driver. Class B CDL is required.
Great retirement job, David.
Yeah.
David, ready to go to work?
Let's talk right after the meeting.
So that's all I have.
Oh, great job.
Thanks, Rob.
He's overqualified.
Oh,
He probably is.
Thanks, Chief.
yeah. Next up, communications, and Kelly is off sick today. So we'll move right into reports from the counselors. Gary?
I just, excuse me, I'm struggling here. I would just encourage anybody that is still on the fence regarding the vaccination to consider getting it. It's not too late. I think the more people that get it, the better off everybody is, so. Beyond that, keep shopping in Speedway. Spend your money in Speedway. That's all I got.
David?
Just a couple things. Tammy's still part of it. I was going to mention the spring fling. There's a trombonist that plays in there that's pretty awesome, that I know pretty well. It's this Saturday again from 7 to 9 at the Meadowwood Park. Encourage everyone to attend that. Congratulations to our varsity softball team at the high school. They played tonight in the Marion County Championship game. I've got some updates via text during our meeting, and it's not sounding very good for them, but congratulations to them for making it to the championship game of the county tourney. It's a big accomplishment, and to keep rolling through sectionals and beyond that. So, and then one more word of encouragement for town residents. Our SCTV crew from our cable have been putting out a lot of great videos of the things going on in town. I would encourage you to go to YouTube, and if you put in the search SCTV and then Speedway, that will bring up the town's cable channel, and they've got a lot of great videos. You can watch past council meetings, redevelopment meetings, but then they also have groundbreakings that President Noblick gives great speeches at.
That was a wet one.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. But a lot of great information for people to watch there. And I don't know if we're going to meet before graduation, but I'd like to congratulate all of our seniors that are graduating this year. That's all I have.
Absolutely. Next up, Vice President Gary Rakes.
Yeah, I'll tag on one of David's, the final one there, graduation. You know, a year ago, we were at the end of a school year where the kids didn't even go the last couple of months of school, and it was a real unsettling time for so many. And in our Speedway, which has just always been and continues to be a terrific partner to the town, put graduation out on the track. It made it possible. And this year wasn't necessary to do that, but our kids are, I believe, in the gymnasium for graduation this year, which is kind of going old school. That's what it was when some of us older guys here graduated from Speedway. They had moved into the auditorium, but I think they're trying to create more seating and distancing and so on. But I congratulate those seniors as well. And kind of in line with that, there were several seniors that last year that we individuals reached out to and just did a little something for them. So I did, whether it's a simple note card that just said congratulations or something a little more than that, I encourage seniors to, or others in the community to think about doing that. The kids have worked hard. It's been trying, year for them as seniors, and not necessarily the senior year that most kids get to experience. So I want to just continue to, on one of the things Tammy was talking about, all the different events that are going on within the parks, but there's, I'm not counting at this point, but there's several events that are planned and anticipated for Main Street, the parks, our schools. There's a farmers market that is expanding and doing bigger things. There's neighborhood block parties. We're making Speedway a place that people want to be, and it can, just hang with other people, and I think that's a great thing. So with that, I just encourage people to be hospitable throughout the month for those that'll be visiting our town. If you don't know where to send them for parking, send them to 26th and 26th and Lyndhurst. The Lions Club is parking in the field that's just just west of the Coca-Cola plant. And with that, I'm going to yield some time to David Lindsay, who I think has something else to say.
Yeah, thank you. I did forget to mention, I'm looking for the email that lists the information correctly so I don't get it wrong, but I want to congratulate our schools. They were ranked #1 in the city and #3 in the state and 264th in the U.S. in a recent report by U.S. News. And I know I've been one that's been critical of some of the communications from our schools, and I know they're working on that. I've been in contact with school board members, with Dr. Trebley speaking about that, and I know they're working on a plan for that. But they're still doing the work, which is the #1 work of educating our students. And I'd just like to congratulate the schools on that ranking for being the #1 rated high school in Marion County. It's definitely a great accomplishment.
That is fantastic. I mean, that is something that the whole town definitely should be very proud of putting, that school system out there in such a diverse community that we have, and achieving the goals that are set forth. It's a great thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
definitely want to applaud them for that.
Yeah, I concur with that too. And I think it actually was greater than Marion County. I'm not sure the exact geography, but I think it was like an 8-state or an 8-county area, maybe
Okay.
even larger. So we beat out the likes of, this isn't always easy to do, obviously, but we beat out the likes of Carmel and Brownsburg and Zionsville and Plainfield and Greenwood, and schools that perform incredibly well every year. They're extremely well funded, that don't necessarily have some of the challenges that our community has. And that says a lot about what our staff's doing, our teachers, what our administration's doing, and what the kids do when they show up every day. And I think for a lot of kids, and I'm sorry for going on here, but I think for a lot of kids, there's 7 or 8 hours in school, plus sports, plus band, plus the other activities they're doing. Those are for some kids, that's the best 8 hours of the day they get. And that says a lot about what our community's doing to invest in them and what those kids are doing to invest back in themselves. So congratulations to everybody involved.
Fantastic. Thank you.
And that's all I have, I promise.
That's it. No, thank you for bringing that up. I mean, That's really good news. I mainly just want to bring it out to the public in terms of, we're going to have a lot of people visiting our town in this month, and it's going to get busier and busier. It's important that, we maintain our properties and, basically put our best foot forward in the month of May. So, if you're out walking or whatever, just pick the trash up, keep it clean, help Rob out, and his crew appreciates it. But also, I think it's important that we have more people and more events occurring on Main Street and throughout the town, that we watch out for our neighbors. And definitely, if you see something out there, absolutely say something. And Chief basically has a great crew backing him up, and can handle it. And we definitely want to have Speedway, also known as one of the safest communities in central Indiana to live in. And we know it's a great place to live. And we definitely want to see that continue and go on. So if there's no other discussion or comments, it is 8 o'clock according to the clock, Tim. I'm going to call this council meeting adjourned.